What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. 20 years. I can't believe it's been 20 years since the release of the Xbox 360. I'm doing this video today because talk a little bit about my second favorite console and just talk about my history with the system and everything. I actually was talking to a friend the other day about it. We couldn't really grasp it, and I kind of told him this. I told him when the Xbox 360 was released, the NES was celebrating its 20th anniversary, technically. You know, that's crazy how much time has, you know, that's wild. And what's crazy, I think it's because the way the generational gaps between, or just the way the technology had advanced between the NES to the Xbox 360. You could see that history there. But with the Xbox 360, there's not much of a generational gap between the Xbox 360 and games now. Games have kind of, you know, graphically some of them look sharper and better, and they have smoother frame rates and everything, but in terms of the leap between each system, yeah, you don't get that anymore. But yeah, it's 20 years. 20 years, it's went by fast. There's so many channels that are probably going to talk about the history of the system. They'll talk about like maybe the Red Ring of Death, or the Kinect, or you know, Halo. They'll talk about Halo, but I'm just going to talk about my experience with the thing. My history with the Xbox 360 is more of a love-hate relationship. I love the system to death, but I hate that so many, you know, roadblocks happened when I had the system. The first one was my account. This is a funny story. When the guys I used to hang out with that played Halo 2 a lot, they would have like multiple accounts and everything like that. And what they would do on Halo 2, if anybody can remember this, they would purposely have about 4 or 5 accounts that were really, really low so they can boost their main Halo 2. This is all on Halo 2, but they would boost their main account so that way they can have like a higher ranking system. And how to do that was that if you had like, if you had a level 2 person on your account and you had like a level 27, you could rank up with level 10s, so you can like mop the floor with them and get your rank up. That's what these guys would do. And I always had like 2 accounts, and one of the accounts was my main one, and I just put a email address because you kind of needed one, or I think you didn't really have to have it tied to it, but it's like an optional. I can't remember exactly why, but you know, for a while there, you didn't really have to have it. And then like Xbox had this new policy where you had to have an email tied to that account. And so I lost that account for a long time. And just recently, I think like back in like 2020 or 2021, I literally just got it back. That was very interesting. But it was one of my accounts that I had forever. I lost it in like 2012 when Halo 4 came out, and I just got it back in like 2020, all because I didn't put the right email address on there, a proper one at least, and I couldn't get to like the internet and change it or anything like that. I lived out in the country. I lived out like in the boonies, and I really lived out there, so I couldn't get access to the internet and whatnot. That was funny to me because it's just like I didn't have an account there for a while. Another thing that came to my mind about the story of Xbox was the Red Ring of Death. I'll talk about that real quick. Everyone was freaking out about it. Everybody was talking about it. And I had thought I had avoided all that, you know, because when the Red Ring of Death happened, it happened like in 2007, 2008, 2009. It was really, really like known mainstream during that time frame. And so I thought I avoided it because once all that happened, the new Xbox, the Xbox 360 Slim version, the second iteration happened. And I still had this. This is the Xbox, my original Xbox, the first Xbox I ever bought. I thought I'd avoided it. And then one day, it just crapped out on me. It was first the hard drive went out, which I have that hard drive right here. The hard drive went out, so I bought a whole new system and just realized I just needed to change the hard drive. So I was like, oh, okay, well then that's what I did. I took the system back and just bought a new hard drive. And then the system itself crashed, like I think like a few months later. So yeah, I had to run in with the Red Ring of Death, and I even got like a slim version, and even that went, you know, got the red ring, or not really a red ring, but it got a red, you know, error code thing. So yeah, that was I had a run in with that. I think everybody who owns a 360 had to have run in with a Red Ring of Death at some point in time. But man, there's a lot of great memories I have with the Xbox 360. It really was like my second favorite console. My first one is the Nintendo 64, but I'll talk about that another day. But the second one is definitely the Xbox 360. I'll always look at 2006 to 2010 as the golden era for me. You know, there were some good games in 2011. 2012 was okay, but it kind of went downhill after 2012. But yeah, I'll always have fond memories. There was another great memory I have of this for this thing here. This is the Halo 3 Collector's Edition. I remember me and my friend went up there to go do it on opening day. Also, it was my first ever midnight release for anything. I remember me and my friend, we got up there. They had a tournament, a Halo 2 tournament, and they had some people in there, and we found out if me and my friend had gone up there earlier and entered in the tournament, we could have wiped them out, because we played the people that participated in, and we always beat them, like, really bad. Yeah, that was kind of funny. He I talked to him about it too, and he still was upset about it. That's the funny part about it. It was so hectic that day. There were so many people waiting in line for that system. When people waiting in line, we got out first to get into line, so we were all in the store, but then he told everybody, like, everybody had to get out of the store, wait in line, and so we got out of there as quickly as possible. And I remember I was like 7th in line, and my friend of mine was in 6th. He was ahead of me. We were waiting in line. It was getting cold, and the manager comes out and was trying to talk to one of the employees. They were telling him, hey, don't let whoever ordered the legendary edition, which was the helmet, just let them know we only have this many. And then they kind of trailed off because they went in the store, so they have so many copies. And I'm sitting there looking at the copies that they had, and they only had 9. And I'm like, oh no. I was kind of like, oh great, like this is gonna suck, because I'm 7th in line, and I didn't know if the 5 other people, because I know my friend of mine ahead of me did not get the helmet version, but I didn't know if the 5 other people had ordered like all 9 copies of the helmet and were getting them from friends or something. I didn't know that, so I'm freaking out and asking my friend, like, hey, can I get in front of you? Can I get in front of you? Can I get in front? And I kept asking them that, and kept asking him. He kept saying no. And so finally, we get into the store, and I'm kind of like not paying attention. I'm kind of just worried. I walk into the store, and it turns out I was the first one to ever get the Halo helmet in that store. Like, they're the first one, because everyone was like pointing and looking at me, going like, "Oh my God, he got it! He got the helmet! Oh, So I was just like, "Oh, that was kind of cool. That was kind of a happy moment." But yeah, there was another really good moment I remember, taking a chance on Gears of War. I remember one time I just walked into our local Walmart. It was a really small Walmart too, and they had a very small video game. It was a very small Walmart, and they had a very small video game selection, and Gears of War was like right there. And I didn't hear anything about it. I literally did not hear a thing about it, because I wasn't really, up with the video game news. And if you had an Xbox, you were pretty much playing Halo. And so I looked at it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this game a chance. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just buy this game. I had a little extra money, bought Gears of War. Probably one of the best purchases I think I ever did on a random walk-in. So yeah, that was so good. I was not expecting Gears of War to be that good and to become the franchise that it was. That was a really great game. That was the one thing I miss out on, and what was so great during that time period was doing the midnight releases. I did a midnight release for Dante's Inferno. Does anybody remember that game? Yeah, I did a midnight release for that. It was funny too, because there was also BioShock 2 was released that day, and looking back on it, I think I should have just got the BioShock 2 like I had originally planned, but Dante's Inferno looked interesting and cool. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I did Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3. I was just gonna do the one Battlefield 3. That was really fun one. Me and my friend, another friend. This was actually another friend of mine. He was with this one girlfriend that was a weird toxic relationship. But we went up there for Battlefield 3. It was like this big thing. And I remember we were playing this Family Guy trivia game inside GameStop, and everyone was you would ask a question like, what did Stewie have on episode 2, and somebody would chime in, and that was so much fun. That was a really fun night. That was a lot of fun. I remember that one. Modern Warfare 3 was another midnight release I did. That was scary because I took a friend from work up to go get it, and it was like pouring rain, like really badly pouring rain. So much so that I couldn't see the road in front of me. But we got up there, we got our copies, and went home and played like one of the best, I think, in my opinion. Well, maybe second best, Call of Duty multiplayer. There's probably everybody has a favorite Call of Duty multiplayer, but that was pretty good too. Let's see, I did also a midnight release for Halo Reach. That was fun, but I did that at my Walmart. Didn't do it at a GameStop. I did one for Halo ODST. At the time, I was working at a movie rental store, and I was the only one there. And the people said I could have done it. So literally, me and my actually no, it was me and a friend of mine. We were the only two people there. We waited till midnight, checked ourselves out. I closed the store because I was working nights at that time. Closed the store, and we went home and played Halo 3 ODST co-oply. That was a really fun night. That was so cool. It was the same guy who had the toxic relationship with his girlfriend and everything. And I think the last midnight release I ever did, literally the last one, wasn't for Xbox 360. It was for like Quantum Break, I think. I only got that game because, like I said before in previous videos, I like time travel stuff. So that was the last midnight release I ever did. And it was really sad too because I drove up there. There was like hardly anybody at the store. I did do one for Halo the Master Chief Collection, but it was the same friend that we did the Halo 3 one. But we got there late. I actually made a video about it. I wonder if I still have that somewhere. But anyways, yeah, the last one I did was for Quantum Break for Xbox One. The Xbox 360 midnight releases were just far better, in my opinion. So I'll always remember those. Oh yeah, I remember also the Xbox 360 had released the Kinect. That was pretty cool. That was a pretty interesting time frame. I remember going to a Best Buy, and my nephew was with us, and we were trying to play all these kids were trying their hardest to play this Kinect game. Yeah, I just remembered he was trying his hardest to get something to move, and this lady was helping him, and I guess the sensor was not picking him up, even though they were both doing it with their hands, like holding it up to make the circle go. And I was like, I looked at that thinking like, I don't think this Xbox 360 is all what it's cracked up to be. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Because there's a lot of people around. Maybe it was just messing up the sensor. And the funny thing is, this is something I don't think I've ever really said, but there was a reason why I even got the 360, and it wasn't even for Halo or Gears or anything else. It was actually for Final Fantasy. Yeah, the servers have shut down a long time ago, but it was for the game Final Fantasy 11 online. At the time, I was really into Final Fantasy, and I've wanted to play that game for like forever. And I got a PC that I thought would work for it, but turns out it didn't. When the Xbox 360 came out and they had that Final Fantasy 11 ready to go, you could buy the copy with all of the updates and the expansion pass, the expansion pack, and all that stuff. I jumped at the chance to buy the Elite version, bought Final Fantasy 11 and played it at my friend's house almost all the time. I think I played that like nonstop when I was over there. I stopped playing Halo 2 just to play Final Fantasy. But in reality, that's what I bought it for, was just for Final Fantasy. I didn't even think about Halo. And 20 years, it's just hard to imagine 20 years just went by so quickly. Okay, so another funny thing happened. I thought it was funny when I picked it up and bought it. So I was in a GameStop. I was just trying to find some cheap Xbox 360 games to play and collect for. And I was in there, and it was dead. The guy was like doing his morning routine and whatnot. And this guy, this customer comes in. He goes up to the front counter and says, "Hey, I have this 360. Do you guys do trades for Xbox 360?" And this is like 2019 or I think it was like 2019. And the guy goes, "No, we don't do 360 anymore. We don't trade." The employee was like, "No, we don't do anything with 360 more. We don't trade anything with 360 more. We just sell the games. We don't do any trades. You won't get any money out of it." And he's like, "You could take it to Game Exchange," or I can't remember all what he said, to get rid of it. And at the time, 360, and probably still now to this day, probably still now, 360 is kind of like whatever. So anyways, yeah, I turned around to see what they were all talking about because he was trying to get rid of it. And I saw the guy had like his original packaging for the Xbox and another Xbox on top of it. I go up to the counter. I go, "Hey, you're wanting to get rid of that system?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of it. Need the money for gas because I'm taking my wife to our, I can't remember what they were doing. It was like, I guess they just had a kid, but he basically needed gas money or just needed money for something." And I was like, well, I'll buy them. How much do you want for them? And he's like, whatever you want. So I paid him like super cheap. I think like 30 or $40 or whatever. And so, yeah, I bought it, gave him the money. I took it home. He was so happy about getting rid of him. His wife was like clearly like wanting that shit gone. He had the two systems in there. One was the Red Ring of Death. One had the Red Ring of Death. The other one was like looked like he just bought it. And he had only like I think like 7 games, and they're like the most dude bro games you could possibly think of. And I just laughed at that one. Of course, he had Halo. He had Modern Warfare. He had Battlefield. I can't remember the other ones. And of course, the game that came with it when you bought the system. And there's a lot of great titles for that system. It's amazing how many great, really good titles the Xbox 360 had. It's just surprising that Xbox just didn't, for the Xbox One, they just didn't recreate it. Now they had a better hardware, they just didn't recreate that magic. And that's another thing I liked about the Xbox 360. Its design. I love that design for it. The removable faceplates. Heck, even the slim version they redesigned looked pretty cool. You don't really get that hardly anymore with like consoles. I think the most unique one we've had recently is the PlayStation 5 and how that looks. Other than that, designs for consoles to grab your attention don't really happen anymore. Not really. And Xbox 360 did that. Like they had the blade system, that bubbly kind of look to it. I'll show a picture of it, what I mean. Everything about the 360 and its design was meant to be eye-catching. It had that grab your attention aura, in my opinion, where it's just like, oh, what's that? Kind of feel to it. And I always remember that. I always remember that the Xbox, play stands area where you can go and play Xbox and whatnot, for like play demos, and I always remember those. Those always caught my eye. I wonder if I could find one. It's my second favorite console. I still like it. Always will have great memories of it. That's it for today's video. I just wanted to talk real quick about my history with the Xbox 360, all my memories of it, and just kind of share with you guys. 20 years of the Xbox 360. It's crazy how time flies. But yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I'll see you guys all in the next one. And y'all, take care.